Welcome to Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. We're going to go to the same spot that we went to yesterday evening. Today's Monday, 27th of November. And yesterday we went the hard way, and today we're going to go the opposite extreme. We're going to go the easy way. We're going to take the four-wheeler and we're going to park down in the behind a couple of cedar trees not too far from the blind. They didn't really work for us that well yesterday. I mean, we snuck in there and did all the stuff we said we were going to do, and we still didn't see any deer. So we're going to try it this time. These deer are more or less used to these four-wheelers coming and going. This one in particular, I'd say twice a week since April. I've made the loop through the farm, just checking on food plots and projects that I'm working on. So these deer know this machine, and it's never been a threat to them. So hopefully that plays into our hand this evening and be a lot easier than climbing up that hill. Once I get in the blind, I'll talk a little bit about my population management philosophy here, like how many deer I want, buck to doe ratio, and that sort of thing. I've had a few comments on the YouTube video recently here, people asking about why I'm shooting so many does, what my goals are here, and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I'll touch on that when we get up to the blind. Once again, this is what I think is our best spot. And I know everybody thinks I'm burning it out, but again, I can talk about that more too, but I don't think so. I think if we were spooking deer, or if the deer were actually using the plot, then I think we could possibly burn it out. But neither one of those things is happening. So I just think that the deer aren't using it yet, and when they start, then this is going to be where those two bucks that I'm hunting are going to end up. So the more time we spend there, you know, again, without the deer knowing, the better. So let's get up the hill, and we'll talk a little bit more, like I said, about some of these topics once I get to the blind.
Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Redneck Blinds, Code of Silence Apparel, Hunt Stand Pro Whitetail, Fuse Accessories, Elevate Tree Stands, B3 Releases and Broadheads, and Hoyt.
This is better. I mentioned down by the buildings that I would talk a little bit about deer density and what my thoughts are there. Really the main thing is it's always easier to let the population go up if you've got too few deer than to bring it down if you've got too many. Because to increase the number of deer, you don't have to do anything really. I mean, just provide the food and sit back and wait and you'll get deer. But if you've got too many deer, it's a lot of work. Not only do you have to provide a lot of food in order to have enough for all the deer so they don't eat everything during the summer, but also you have to shoot a lot of them in order to get the population under control or to keep it stable. I always figured in a good range, like what we have here, you've got to kill a minimum of 25% of the adult deer every year to keep the population from growing in that area. Not to say that they won't spread out and populate a nearby area, and in that way it gets kind of diluted. Like, for example, my neighbors don't have a lot of deer. It's pretty much cattle pasture or some timbered areas that don't have much food. So if my population starts to increase, I'm not going to see that gain right away because some of those deer are going to spread out. But in general, the rule of thumb is 25%. The wind is making the blind move. We got about a 20-some mile per hour gusts, and it's what did we say it was, 20 degrees out?
Yeah.
So the wind chill's like, I don't know if it's single digits, probably single digits. It is cold, but so that's just one thing to keep in mind. It's easier to get more deer than it is to reduce the herd number. So if you're going to err on the side of too few. Now, my situation's a little bit different because I'm going into this with the mindset of improving the habitat on this farm. And anytime you try to grow something that deer like, if you have a lot of deer, they're going to eat it, and it's never going to make any kind of maturity, and you're never going to have anything there. Areas that have a high deer density, they tend not to have any preferred browse to speak of, because all of the stuff that the deer really like, they've already eaten it to the dirt, and it's gone. Some biologists have told me that once it's gone, it might be decades before it's back again, because it takes that long for those species to, re-inhabit the area. So just for the overall long-term health of the habitat, I want to have a lower deer density to start with. I want to be able to, plant the trees that I want to plant. I want to be able to plant the shrubs. Like this coming spring, I was just reading the list to Ethan. We're planting like 5 or 6 different species of shrubs, and they're all browse species. They're all things that the deer would eat if there were a lot of deer. So if there aren't a lot, then we can grow these things and they can, reach maturity, and they can produce something that has long-term benefit. Not only for just the beauty of the property, but also for the deer themselves. So short-term, low density, long-term, I'll start letting the numbers come up a little bit more, but it's going to be a few years. So, it's not like I've killed half of the deer. I mean, I've only killed 5 does. Yeah, I'm shooting at every one that comes within bow range, but there sure haven't been very many that came within bow range. My goal was 12 to 15. I feel like that gets me into that 25% to 30% range of the number of adult does. So that's my philosophy. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah, it'd be nice if there was a lot more deer here. We'd see a lot more deer, but also we would pay the price when we're trying to do these habitat projects. Come back again in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. At some point, the farm will be really good. The habitat will be awesome. The deer will be super healthy, and we'll have, a nice, sustainable density of really high quality deer, and that's the goal. We got about 45 minutes left. It looked like a couple of doe or a couple of fawns just came out behind us, and we're feeding on that little strip of wintergreens. I suppose we should talk about the trade-offs between walking in versus taking the four-wheeler and whether it makes any difference. I might save that debate for the next time we go out. That'd be Wednesday evening. While we're in the blind Wednesday evening, we'll be going to a different spot. We can't come back here again because the wind won't be right, but we can have that debate. And there's 2 sides to that, and I know I've heard from a lot of people over the years on both sides of it. We tried it the hard way last night and the easy way tonight. I felt like we got in slicker tonight. Yeah. I just think that the deer pay more attention if you're walking than if you're buzzing through there on a four-wheeler, especially on this farm, because they're used to the four-wheeler. Wouldn't necessarily work someplace where there aren't any four-wheelers, going through. Gosh, I'd like to be able to say I'm going to see something here in this last 45 minutes, but I thought we were going to see something by now. I really did. It had a good feel to it, that sunny kind of high pressure feel, but alas, what is that about? The best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
see all the wealth of information that Ethan learns when he hunts with me. We are going to call it quits here for tonight, and if anything else comes out, we'll just tag it on to the end of the video. And like I said, I'll be out again Wednesday, not going tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday. And then be out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'll bring you a video blog or a daily video from each one of those hunts. Well, I appreciate you joining me. We'll see you right back here in a day or two for the next episode of Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. And remember, always dream
big.